Welcome to the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities November Informational Webinar. This webinar is being recorded. If you are having difficulty hearing the presentation, phone numbers that can be used to call and join the audio via phone while following the slides online will also be posted in the chat window. My name is Drew Andrews, and I'm the director of the Florida Center for Students with Unique Abilities at the University of Central Florida. Thanks for joining us today. Our webinar, The Impact of Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Programs on Student Lives. This webinar will be a panel of 3 parents who have had a student attend a Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program. They will be sharing their journey from deciding to attend an FPCTP to seeing the accomplishments of their young adult at completing the program. Please welcome our parent panelist, Maritza Gallardo, Lisa Slotnick, and Christy Bethard. At this time, we will begin our webinar, and we will begin with each parent sharing their story. Then we will ask questions of the panel and give you, the participants, the opportunity to ask questions as well. Let's get started. Iris?
Okay, let's get started. We're going to start with Christy to tell her story, and then we'll move alphabetically to Maritza and then to Lisa. Okay, Christy?
Hi, I'm Christy Bethard. I have 3 children, Elijah, who's 25, Gabriel, who's 23, and Lydia, who's 21. Lydia was diagnosed with Williams syndrome, which is a depletion of chromosome number 7, about 23 genes out of chromosome number 7. They found some more genes, and turns out some are missing, some are not. Anyway, we actually decided to come here to Florida from Las Vegas, Nevada. My daughter went to school K through 12 in Las Vegas. We moved right before her kindergarten year. We, through high school, her other older brothers had gone to college, so she just was assuming, like, she went to the same schools as they did. She just assumed that was going to happen for her. So we had to look really hard. We used thinkcollege.net to find Southeastern University in Lakeland, and it's been a wonderful experience. I'm sorry, I should have written down all the things I was supposed to say, but in high school, she was very, very involved in high school. She tried cheerleading. She said it was too much drama, which this girl loves drama, so can't imagine how much drama there was. But and she tried all these sports. She went bowling, where she bowled a perfect 0 one game. She didn't hit a single pin, and everyone's so kind and stuff. But so I really wanted to make sure, when I was looking for a college, that there would be something that she could be included in, because she's very, very social, not super gifted at it, but she really does enjoy it. And yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk. Is there anything else I need to say?
That's all for now, and then we'll ask questions in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, Maritza?
Sure. Hi, I'm so excited to be able to join you today. I'm Maritza Gallardo Cooper, and I have a wonderful daughter and wonderful son. Those are my 2 children. Nisa was a challenge for me, because it doesn't matter how much you take care of yourself and whatever, life has surprises for us. And Nisa was diagnosed early with cerebral palsy, and she's been able to overcome a lot of those motor challenges, but then struggled through special education throughout her K through 12, due to some developmental delays in different areas. My story is a little bit different. That maybe, I don't know, I'm going to get to know everyone. But my daughter joined this program in her 30s. So after her graduation, we have tried very hard to do a lot of activities for her to integrate into the community. But as you know, that transition from high school where everything was taken care of, falling onto a parent, it was very difficult. It didn't matter how much we worked hard and advocated for her and got involved in different programs that were available. Nothing was as comprehensive as this program. But anyhow, we were very blessed that she was able to join the program in her late 30s. So she came a little bit later. Nisa has a wonderful personality. She's eager to please, very loving, very affectionate, very caring of people. But her shyness at times when she's in a new situation, etc., did not come through. It was always a concern for us, her sense of independence and how she can integrate more into the community on her own. So I will share with you, I can talk for a long time about my daughter, but I know that I have a lot of cool stories to hear from my co-presenters. So I'm going to wait there and, through the hour, I will be able to interject more. But I think that what makes us really unique and is so important for me to share my story is that I'm learning from other stories, because all of us have uniqueness with our children, and our, experiences are different. So we cannot say that everything is the same. We learn from the differences that we have. So I'm excited to be here.
I keep forgetting to unmute myself. All right, and Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Slotnick. I'm the mom of a wonderful 22-year-old man named Isaac Slotnick. We live in Palm Beach County in Boynton Beach, but we always did things in Broward as well. Even his high school was in Broward. It was a very small high school. And coming out of high school, we didn't really know what we were going to do with Isaac. At first, we tried this place called College Living Experience, and that was during the year of the pandemic. And that was great because nobody else was doing anything that year. So it was good, except it was a very expensive program. So we tried that program and to do like a typical college class where they would support him. And then we realized that Isaac wasn't really, he wasn't able to function in a regular college classroom. It was just too much and too rigorous for him. So they suggested the NEST program, and they told us that there was one more space available, and they thought it would be a better fit for him. And so we were like, that's great. And that's how we found out about the NEST program. And, it was a little bit hard at first because, he's going from this, small environment, and even the College Living Experience was basically a center that they were doing an online class with him. So he's going from this small environment to having to drop him off at a college on his own. And anyway, I guess later you'll ask us questions about that, but Isaac did very well, and I'm gonna let you guys ask me the questions, and we'll go from there.
Excellent. Such diverse backgrounds. I mean, we have someone who is looking for college immediately after high school, someone who is in college and wasn't the right match, and then somebody who took a break and came back and said, I want to go to college. That's that. I love the diversity of the stories. So let's start with, I gave the panelists some questions, so they have their questions too, but which FPCTP did your young adult attend? Lisa, you had said Broward College, correct? And you're muted. So if all three of you will unmute for now.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question? You're not very clear, so can you repeat that?
I'm going to try it this way. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Question is, which FPCTP did your young adult attend?
Which
Well,
FCTP, what was the rest of the
Right.
question?
Which Florida Post-Secondary Comprehensive Transition Program? At which college did they attend?
So Lydia attended the LINK program at Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. And she's still there, actually. Yeah, her last year.
Okay.
My daughter, and I'm so excited, Christy, we're in the same county, but I'm
Oh.
north, I'm in Jupiter. But I am, Nisa attended the FAU program in Jupiter, the
Oh,
honors college.
And
great.
Isaac attended the NEST program at Broward College North.
Oh, okay.
Great. Great. Tell us, what was the top concern you had before your child applied and enrolled in the college program? It could be anything from financial, mental health, self-care and independence, loneliness of child or self, or your child's physical health. What were your concerns?
So I mean, I had the same concerns that I had with my boys, so it wasn't super. The only thing that would be a little bit different was that we lived in Las Vegas, and I looked this up. It's got 294 days a year with only 4 inches of rain a year. And so she's afraid of storms. So I chose Florida. So that was my or not she chose, like she chose it. But so that was probably where a lot of my anxiety came from, besides the normal anxiety that I had with or not anxiety, but just another mommy angst of a child leaving home for the first time. The SEU did such a good job, and that's why I didn't have a lot. They did a really, really good job of preparing me. So
my experience, at least for me, my concern was more of Nisa's isolation and lack of integration, independently in the community. Nisa already had a job, which was wonderful, and she was very successful with it. But there was something missing with respect to her social network on, what kinds of support systems she could have, that she could initiate. So she was very much under our protection. So I think that I was always concerned that I wanted to see her much more independent, having much more initiative in things that she could do. So those were my primary concerns.
And my primary concerns with Isaac was, at first, because he came from a small environment, was navigating the campus on his own. Basically that he would be out there, and that was really scary. And I wasn't sure. Sometimes you don't, I know that he lacked some independent skills, and that scared me too. Like basically he'd have to get who would he sit with at lunch, buying lunch on his own, downtime. What if he left his iPad somewhere or his phone and we couldn't reach him? And then also how others on the campus may or may not act towards him. Like, would they be nice to him? Would they help him? Would they ridicule him? All that kind of stuff went through my head.
And so how did the institution or the college program help your child or help you overcome those fears?
Well, for me, they laid it out pretty succinctly and thoroughly of what was expected of her beforehand, so we can work on practicing some of her, like laundry and putting it away and hanging up. Like, just they let me know exactly what was expected of her, and then what is expected of me. And basically it was no news is good news. And so that was maybe the hardest part for me, is just assuming, when I didn't hear from her, because she's having such a good time, and not knowing whatever she ate every meal. And by the way, it was pizza, but she so that, but they did a really good job of setting up my expectations. And so it was and Lydia's a pretty communicative girl, so I kind of knew like what her emotional state was. So
And Christy, you talk about, I'm going to let her expand just a little bit on this. the program at SEU, tell a little bit about that, because I don't know that everybody knows exactly what was going on there. She wasn't just coming back and forth. What was she doing?
Oh, no, she lives in the dorm. So
Ah,
she lives in the dorm. Yeah. So when I say I had to let go, I had to let go. Right. So we did have the same room with the boys. That the first week of college, they had to text us every night, good night, when they went to their room. Like that was our rule. And so she had the same rule. We maybe texted her a little bit longer, but that was not the rule, So if she didn't want to text us, she didn't want to text us. But yeah, so she's there on the weekends all the time. She lives in the dorm and she's loving it. Loving it.
okay.
Third
So,
year.
Third year. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. All right, so let's get back to the question. How did they support you, Maritza, in helping you overcome the, the fear that Nisa wasn't going to be involved?
I think my primary concern with that was the fact that she would consent to do the program. So my anxiety and my concerns were related to, and it took a little while, she had a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to have a personal one-on-one a tour of the university, of the program with Dr. Carey. I mean, she went out of her way. She says, "Oh, but bring her alone and I'll talk to her the program and we can, she will be maybe more comfortable with it." But after that, she liked Dr. Carey very much, but she said, "I still need to think about it." So it took us another year because she was still thinking about it. And she participated in the orientation and she was sold. Okay. And I think, talking with her afterwards, it became apparent for her. She says, "Mom, I have been in so many programs that I would just get bored, or it was not like, I didn't know if I wanted to go or not, because sometimes whatever I found in the community, and it was like an hour a week or something like that, to give her more computer skills or something to that effect." And I said, "Oh my God, Mom, I'm going to be in college." And she was so excited to be in a college campus. And right after that, I had no concerns because I knew the faculty. The faculty has so many expertise in special education. She could not have been with anyone else, but I never worried that she was going to get lost or something was going to happen to her, because I had complete trust in the faculty of the program. So so I guess my issue was more on how smart of Dr. Carey that she was able to take it and give her the space and not pressure her. And then after that, Nisa was a complete soldier in the program. I mean, she was so invested. And I'm impressed, Christy, that your daughter is living in the dorms. I mean, that's an exciting thing, exciting experience. Our experience was more, going there and coming back home. So it was not as involved as yours, but definitely she was eager to do homework. She was very invested into the program once she was in. Okay.
Great. Lisa, you had a bunch of what ifs.
Yes,
How
I
does the
did.
program support you with all your what ifs?
Okay, well, first of all, there was a nice orientation I saw that the kids had to go through, and I was kind of sitting on the side, listening in. And then we went to the campus the weekend before he started, and we saw that the campus was pretty small and manageable in the area that they would be within the campus. Then I also found out that they had to check in and check out at the beginning of every day in the Nest office of the in Broward College. So they would have to check in. So and so I knew, okay, they'd see if he got there and they'd see when he left. And then I spoke to Melissa Adams, who is also on the Zoom, and she's the one who ran the program. And on the first day when they came in, and the orientation day, not the one on the computer, she showed me how there was a second floor, and from the second floor, she could see, basically the whole area of the campus where all the students would be hanging out. So I was like, oh, okay, that was another good thing. And also I found out that she ran a program at UCF that was very similar. And I heard a lot of successful things from that program. So, based on all those things together, that helped me. Plus Isaac had 2 tracking devices, which was his phone and his iWatch. So, if I ever had to, panic, I'm like, oh my goodness, where is he? And I could check it out.
Okay. So now let's talk about letting go. What ultimately allowed you to let go of all your worries and have your student go away to college?
Well, for me, it was her desire. So like I had, I didn't want to be the one to ever hold her back, so I had to let go. It was my, I guess, anxiety or worries more so. So, and again, they did a really good job of laying out what the expectations were, what we were going to do. And, sorry, sorry. And so that really helped. And for those that think I still live in Nevada, I didn't. I moved an hour and a half away. So that also helped ease some, so that way I'm able to get to her if I need to. I'd probably be a different story if I still lived in Las Vegas, but I don't. And that was Stash the cat.
Who wants attention? Okay.
He definitely needs attention.
I really did not have any problems of letting go. I just had so much trust. The orientation was excellent. It explained very clearly to parents what they had. The campus was small. I mean, which I think it was, Nisa used to get lost in a Publix, and so I would, you always get concerned about those spatial things and how she's going to find her place. But I just felt so good about the program that I said, that's something I can let go. I know she will learn that, and she will have the people to help her with that.
I didn't have as hard a time as Christy because there was no dorm. So I basically went every day. And if you think I was nervous, his dad was way more nervous than me. But basically it was Isaac's desire to go to college. He wanted to be like everyone else. He wanted to be like his sister. He graduated high school and then he went to college. That's what he wanted for his life. So, I basically had to, I found a program that I thought would be good for him. And basically I had to let go to let him reach what goals that he wanted to reach in his life.
Lisa, I'm so sorry. I've been calling Christy Lisa, but I just realized that it's Lisa, the one who lives here in Palm Beach County.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But you're welcome to my house, Christy. That's no problem. Okay. But
which city do you live in?
I live in Jupiter, Florida.
Oh, okay. That's
it's like another planet. It's a good place to be. But I'm really amazed, Lisa, that Isaac was able to tell you what he wanted, and he was very clear. Nisa, I found out through the program that was a strong desire she always had, but never expressed it, And her brother went to, extensive educational program that he had in college, and I did not realize how much being a college student meant to her, and her thrilled experience when she accomplished her certificate, it was, and her graduation. So that was an experience that it didn't matter how much I would talk to her positively about other things that she was doing. Experience is everything. She needed to experience that herself. That's for me the beauty of this program.
We have a question with the audience. How did you prepare your young adult for college?
Well, for me, she's always had chores, but her chores were like clean a room, and I mean, it made a bed, but it didn't have to be. It wasn't great, but she worked on it, and then I'd finish it off. But I stopped doing that. To prepare her for college, she had to do all her own laundry, which I am not kidding, took maybe an hour the first time. She took every piece of garment, looked at it, squirted it. Like it was insane. And then I also started letting her, every time I get gas, she went into the convenience store or the gas station by herself to buy something, to buy one thing, and just to try to work on, we don't buy everything. What one thing did you buy, and use a credit card to do that. And those are some of the things that I did.
We talked about college, about the responsibilities with college. Anissa says, Mom, I'm ready. I love doing homework. I mean, that's the way she was perceiving her goal. But I think that what was more meaningful to me was after she started a program and she says, Mom, for the first time in my life, I feel busy. I love being busy. And it really, really got to me because I realized what a gap she had in her everyday living. That even though she had opportunities, were close family knit, whatever, for the first time she felt like she had a life and that she was busy with it. So I think that it's a combination of our talking about it, but she already wanted this. So that made it very easy for us.
We went through scenarios, and like before college started, like, buying lunch. Like that was a thing, buying lunch, using his own money. What would he order? What are the things they have on campus? Things like that. And also, giving him more consequences when he lost his stuff, because he would go to school with his iPhone and his laptop and sometimes even an iPad. And, it was basically, about, having the right tools to not lose all his stuff. And of course, once in a while, some stuff was left at school, but, as time went by, he realized the consequence of not having it. So just the things that we did to prepare was like, we talked about certain scenarios and what would happen if this and what would happen if that. And he knew that he could call us if he needed anything, because we're basically 30 minutes away. So that's what we did to prepare. That's it.
Okay, let's talk about milestones. What were some of the milestones that your young adult accomplished while attending the program?
Well, I mean, she's just so much more mature. So, I mean, it's just so much more mature, can handle things. I've got this, Mom. She's so mature. And I just, so I can't, she makes good choices, with eating and her dress. Oh my goodness. Cause she had a uniform before. So it's funny to watch what she chooses and how fashions become her thing. She thinks she wants to be a model now. So I got to figure that out. But, she's, but one thing that like, again, I'm an hour and a half away. And so one of her aunts, it's a family friend, but came in town. I said, oh, Lydia, can we pop by and see you? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. And she had to call me back 30 minutes later. And she's like, can I talk to Aunt Jen? And so I put her on a speakerphone. She's like, I'm sorry, Aunt Jen, I'm just so busy. I just don't have time. And I mean, when we hung up, we high-fived. It was like, we've been waiting our whole life for that. So that is like, she's busy with her life. She has a life. Like that's everything I could ever hope for.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I noticed with Nisa, as she was just blooming in this program, was that her language was different. She would say things like, I can take care of it. I need to do this and that. There was so much initiative and so much intent in her language. I didn't have to ask her or prompt her because she did that. So her level of decision making and her problem solving and, and her sense of confidence that she had on herself, because she felt much more confident. It was really kind of generalized just with everything that she did. I'm going to tell you a little story, but I had COVID. And in that first year of COVID, my husband was out of town. And I got really sick around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And I had to be hospitalized. And Nisa was sleeping. And, I was really concerned. Next day, she had to go to work. So I called her as soon as I got to the emergency room, and she said, "Oh, Mom, I'm sorry that you're so sick, but don't worry about it. I can take care of it. I'm going to call Uber tomorrow and I'll take care of it. So just get better." That's all she said. I had a friend, to check on her, but she did. All of this independently. She called Uber in the morning. She went to work and then called Uber again. By the time that I got home, luckily I was there at the hospital just for basically 24 hours. When I got home, she said to me, the first thing is, "Mom, what do you want me to make you for dinner?" And that was like an amazing thing. All of a sudden, my daughter was like an adult, taking care of me in that particular time. So it was I think that example just kind of gives you a sense of the changes. I know that Christy talked about maturity, how much independence and how would I say, a sense of confidence that she can take care of life adversities in any way was just really an incredible surprise, but something I enjoyed very much.
I could see the number one thing that Isaac gained from the program was independence. At the beginning when we sent him out there, we were worried about every little thing. And after that, he was basically, just doing everything on his own, of course, with the help and support of the people at the NEST program. But he picked up more language skills. And this is another big thing, self-advocacy, to stick up for himself, because he used to be a little bit quiet. And, he was, basically would stand up for himself a lot more. He learned a lot of computer skills as well, things that you need nowadays, because they had to do a lot of work on it. Another thing he gained was the skill of knowing when you're in public and you're in school, how you had to act a certain way. And because Isaac has autism, and sometimes he has some self-stimulative stimulative behaviors, and they may look quote unquote weird. But he knew that when he was at school and he was in public, he had to turn that off and he had to act like an adult. And, just the fact that he knew how to self-regulate himself, that made him even more independent. And we were really, really proud of him.
Wow. Wow. So we do have another question. Was your student matched with peers on campus, with like a peer mentor, or somebody who was degree seeking and not a person with a disability?
So yes, Lydia has 4 what she calls mentors. One is her roommate in the dorm, is her, and then she has I'm trying to think, there's 4 and I can only think of 3. And then one is the life or social one that kind of helps her on Saturdays. One is an academic mentor. And I'm sorry that the other one's escaping me, but I think the other one just lived in the pod in case the roommate wasn't going to be there. So it was a room of 4 rooms with a living area with a bathroom with 2 toilets, 2 showers, 3 sinks, kind of thing. So yeah, so they would they did provide a lot of covering, especially over the weekend. So that way she got to do at least one thing over the weekend. And again, she's super social, so she just I guess one time she just plopped down in the middle of the football team's, lunch and joined them for lunch and introduced herself. And now she's got a bunch of friends. So she's just very social. But they did provide a lot of that kind of friendships, like mentoring.
Yeah, Nisa has a different experience than Christy's daughter,
Mhm.
but because she was not a residential, student, she was not in the dorms. But she was assigned, she had the different people in the faculty that were mentors for her, but a very specific mentor was assigned to her who was I think a senior in undergraduate. And she would call Nisa on a regular basis. She would do activities. Nisa, for the first time, went to the dorm to watch a movie with a friend. I mean, these were new experiences for her. And she felt like she was very much part of the campus activity. They would go out to lunch together. They did things together, or they would cook together. For example, like they had like a little area where the students could cook together, and she felt like she had a friend and somebody that was really guiding her and providing her some support. I think that experience was incredible. And I think that going back to that language that Nisa for the first time told me stories. Mom, let me tell you what I did today. And we did this and we went to this restaurant. Oh my, they have the best coffee. We're going to take you over there. So it was like all of a sudden she had discovered the community, and she didn't have that opportunity before. No matter with the experiences we gave her, it just had different meaning because she was doing it with her friends. And her classmates also did a lot of activities together. And they used to go to lunch together as well. So I think that in that respect, I think there was like peer mentoring, with someone assigned to her, but her classmates she became very close to them. And they provided some very special friendships that allow her to do other new experiences, like taking a shuttle from Jupiter all the way to Boca. And getting to know the Boca campus is very big, and it takes about an hour. That's the drive. And she handled Boca campus real well. Oh, I'm with my friends, Mom. Don't worry about it. We already know where the education building is, and we know where the cafeteria is, and they knew all the restaurants that were available. So it was an amazing, very exciting part of her experience with her new friends, but also with her mentor.
At the beginning, the NEST program was brand new when Isaac started. So it was the first year, and at the beginning, they didn't have peer mentors. So I think that they paired him up with someone else in the class to help him when he needed some help. But then I think after the second year, that's when they started having, they started having more people, and they found some mentors. Yeah, basically, I think that was how they did it in his program.
Okay, so I know Nisa is working.
Yes.
I'm going to target you, Marissa. Talk a little bit about her job and how she got that job.
You're talking about Nisa, my niece. Okay.
Yeah.
And Nisa was able to get a job. She loves books, and she has the ideal book job because she works in a library, in the county library. And she is a shelver, but also she has been given new opportunities. She's very good with computers, so she's been given new skills and opportunities to expand her skills. And what I'm amazed is that she says to me, "Oh, today, Mom, there were two people that couldn't find their books, and they called me in to find them for them." So, they were really happy with me. Or she's found $20 in books, and she returns them to the administration. She's very invested into her job. She got her job through vocational rehab. We had it, but it took many years to get a job. So this is not something that was simple. it took many, many years, a lot of advocacy from our part to be able to get it. But we were very fortunate that the county at the time was developing a special program for the disabled adult. And Anissa passed the test because she's very good with sequencing and the letters and all of that. And she was able to get the job. And she has been awarded like Employee of the Year once for the entire county. And another time, she has every year they have recognition, and she gets every year recognition from her particular library. You know, they recognize she's never sick. She's so responsible with her job, and she loves her job. And I think that sometimes people tend to forget how much value they give, our kids give the value to their work. It means the world to them. So she's never sick, never late. I mean, she's a very reliable employee. So I think that she has earned that, you know, all together. But she always has a good attitude and very positive about things. So that's how she got the job. When we went through the program of the academy, then we had other opportunities to give her the self-confidence, because they've been wanting to give her more responsibilities. And that's what we're working on. It has started that like 2 years ago, she started doing more computer work and more contact with the people that come to the library. What is it that she has a term for them that it was like really, what is it that she calls them? Well, the patrons, that's what she calls them, you know, the patrons, you know, today, or that's the way she does.
Which
But I mean,
library does she work at?
At the Jupiter Library.
Okay.
So it's very close to our home. We've been very, very happy with that. And she was offered another position in another satellite, which was very far away. But she said, Mom, I'm so happy where I'm at. I wait until I can get that job here. So that's where we are. But she's very happy and obviously taking more responsibilities with her job.
Great. Lisa or Christy, are your young people working yet?
I'll let Christy, you go first.
Okay, so no, she is doing an internship at a cat cafe and is incredibly thrilled by it and is thinking about opening a cat cafe. Mostly to play with kittens. So we'll see how that goes. But no, she's volunteered a lot at thrift stores and at cats are a theme at the it wasn't theme, it was whatever it was called in Las Vegas, but we worked with cats. But no, she's not working full-time. Well, she's at school still. So
okay, Isaac, so he graduated about 8 months ago in May, and since then we were working with vocational rehab, although I'll tell you the truth, all the interviews that he's gotten, maybe one came from vocational rehab, and probably the other 10 came from me applying for him.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And telling the vocational rehab that he had an interview. So, really. And then just recently, first, Kiki's Cafe is opening up a new place in Delray Beach. And you know, finally, after he had an interview there and they're like, okay, well, we're not sure, we'll let you know. Isaac sent a text to them, I like saying, I hope you really give me a chance. And the same day they called the vocational rehab person and said, oh, okay, we're going to give him a chance. Well, that place, so they said they're going to give him a chance and they're going to do an on-the-job training, but it was supposed to open October 15th and then November 1st. And then they still didn't open yet. There's the job coach went by today to ask them, oh, how did your opening go on November 1st? But they're still not open yet. So she has a call out. When will that start? However, last week we got a call and he's gone to about 5 different, his internship at the NEST program was in the library. And he did that for the whole year because they said he did so well that they wanted to keep teaching him. So he had the both semesters was at the library. So we finally got a call. And he had 5 interviews at different libraries, and they were saying that although, you know, he has experience as a shelver, there's other things involved, other computer skills that they weren't sure he'd be good at. And then we got the call a week ago to have an interview. And here's the thing. It was an interview for a volunteer shelver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Vocational rehab will not help you with any volunteer positions.
No.
So basically, I had to go and say I was the job coach on the interview. And well, the only time I went as the job coach, and he got the job. And they said that early this week, they're going to put together a schedule for him, and he'll be a volunteer shelver at the Delray Beach City Library. And we're very excited about that, because hopefully that'll lead to, because I heard it's very difficult to get into a library. And if you start out with volunteering, thanks, Melissa, and you start out volunteering, then it could lead to a permanent position. But then now I do have the issue of, so when he starts next week, who's going to be like a job coach to kind of help him put everything together? So that's where I'm going to contact our NEST program, even though he's not in it, and see if perhaps we can have some aid with that. Because as I say, vocational rehab won't do anything if it's not a paid position, because I guess that's how they get paid. Anyway, but either way, I know he's going to do really well because he did that job before, and he's very excited about it. We can't wait.
Great, great. Okay. So we have about 10 minutes left. I have one more question, and then we'll open up for more questions from the audience. What advice would you give to parents looking at next steps after high school?
My biggest suggestion is really talk to them about what they want. I mean, you know, obviously we were in Nevada, so really the whole United States was open to us about where we wanted to go and what she wanted to do. And so we really had to think about what it is she wanted. Now, she told me she wanted a party school. So got that going for us. So so I had to look at a school that was very social and that kind of thing. But that would be my advice is really ask them what they want, and then try your best to match that within the realm of like, you know, SEU. They party hard, they give out free hot dogs before the football game, you know, kind of. They wear red t-shirts on Fridays, you know, that kind of you know, party.
I think for next steps, I think that I'm going to tell you 2 things. One of them is the changes that occurred to me as a parent, you know, becoming much more patient and allowing exactly what Christy said on, you know, take the time to wait until if she says no or she's doubtful about something, that there's usually something else there that she can communicate and she can tell me. And I think that was it. You know, sometimes we're too eager, and if she doesn't give an answer, oh, well, maybe she's, you know, not confident enough to be able to. But sometimes it is, I just learned from her that it takes her more time to really process some things and to have that insight. But once I touch that, it is incredible. So I think that for me as a parent, I would say it really worked for me. It was an incredible eye-opener for my husband and I to have that discussion, because I think that sometimes in our eagerness to help, we did too much, you know, and sometimes did not give her the space that she needed to show us that she could do it. So that's one thing. But the second thing is, if you have a child that's graduating from high school, or you have a child that has graduated for some time, this is an incredible, incredible program. So my recommendation would be, because of my living experiences, what I have continued to live, some of the gains from the program, is to work with your child to see and get them involved in somehow so that they can go to the campus or whatever, and they can get motivated and participate in this program. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, you know, that it doesn't come in naturally. But once you do it, I think that, you know, it's going to be a different experience for the family, complete with the family. See their growth and then see the changes that you're seeing in your child, adult child, we'll say. Okay.
Can you repeat the exact question? Because I couldn't hear you very well.
I'm sorry about that. What advice would you give to parents looking at next steps after high school?
Well, you know, first of all, you have to listen to your kid. But if you have a kid that may be like, oh, I'm worried, and, you know, you have to see, you know, it's kind of the natural, a college program is like the natural thing. That's what typical students are doing right now. And, you know, even they're growing up in there too. You know, when you see them going away to college, it's the same with my typical daughter who went away to UCF. And what she is now compared to when she first went away to college, it's like, oh my God, it's the same kid, you know? It's just basically trying to make them a little bit like everybody else, experience the same accomplishment and the same joys. I'll give you another example. You know, my son, he has a permit, right? And we're not sure 100% if he'd be able to get a full license, because it worries us when, you know, there's a four-way light and you have to make a right on a red light and cars could be coming from that direction and that direction. So my husband's like, I'm never going to let him have a car and drive on his own. And I know other parts of it he's great at. He's been doing this. He drives with me, and, you know, as long as I'm there. So what we did is we have a shopping center very close to our house. We got him a golf cart, and he is so independent now, going to the store on his own, buying groceries on his own, picking up his own lunch now. You know, you just do things that you see other people doing, and you try to, even though they can't do everything, you try to make it similar. You try to make it similar and make them feel like they're like everyone else. So that's why I recommend these programs for sure, because and there's so many skills they can pick up.
Yes. So, Tasha, I'm going to try your question out. So it sounds like you guys were very, very involved, and the instructors were very involved. Did your young person ever get frustrated with you in your involvement? Did they express their self-advocacy skills?
Well, Lydia is a typical girl. She's frustrated with me all the time. So yeah. You know, Mom, I embarrass her, I guess, is more. I'm not. So maybe the other two wonderful women are better at answering that than.
Well, I think that part of the independence is they're still going to have some friction with you, because, you know, no, I want to do this other thing. And I see in her, you know, strong self-confidence now, and thinking for herself and problem solving for herself. And so I think that in that respect, you know, that's what I was mentioning, that I tend to then overprotect and try to solve. And she goes back and says, I know what I can do. So I think it is that issue to expect. As they become more independent, they're adults and they become more independent. They want to make their own decisions, follow through with those decisions. So I think that is a sign of health, you know, is a positive sign. I never had it, you know, in the other extreme, like frustration or crying or tantrums or anything of that. I did not experience that with Nisa. But I did experience more advocacy and assertiveness, you know, over what she needed. And that was like different. I had to adapt to that. But then I had to reframe it. And I said, wow, she's growing up so much. She's maturing so much.
Yeah.
Well, Isaac gets frustrated with me sometimes, and he says to me, don't help me. I want to do it on my own.
Good.
Or let's say we're somewhere and I want to tell everybody, oh, he got the job and he did this and he did that. And he's like, he tells me, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. And then later I see him talking about it. He wants to be the one that tells it, that I should just not talk about him like that. Let him do it.
That's cute. That's really good. Well, it's his accomplishment,
That's
it's
right.
so exciting. We just feel so proud.
I know.
Yeah. Ladies, y'all are fantastic. I love the energy. I have one parent that has said, I have 2 children with special needs, and I'm scared to let go. Can you give me one sentence, because we don't have much time, to help encourage this parent?
Well, I do not know the kinds of hurdles and challenges that her children have. So, you have to always take that into perspective. But I think that when you have 2 children, you always have to make sure that you meet the needs of both. And sometimes it's very hard. But then by the same token, because they have special needs, that it will facilitate in some ways trying to provide them with an opportunity to grow and mature this way. And then they can reinforce each other, through that process. And it brings in a sense of, the way I would see it, at least it happened with some people that I'm aware of that had 2, and one had 3 children that were disabled. They just provided a sense of support to each other. So it was like a group activity. And then actually they became quite competitive with each other, which was a good thing, not in a negative way.
Any other last words?
I would say that while letting go is super incredibly hard, what you get back is so much more than the letting go. Who she has, I might even cry, so I apologize. Who she's become by me letting go is everything I couldn't even dream as big as she's living. So it hurts to let go, but what comes back is amazing, assuming you pick the right the right programs and all that. But it's scary. I whoever it was that asked, I'm sorry, it's scary, but man, is it worth it. It's worth it.
You always, you have to let go in order for them to achieve something, because if you don't try, they'll never get to the next step, even no matter how scary it is. And they'll always surprise you.
It will. They'll fly.
Thank you so much for attending today. And thank you, ladies, for being inspiring. You are all an inspiration.
Thank you for the programs that you create to help our young people become the best that they can be.
I was wondering if you can develop an alumni.
That's such a good program. We have recorded this. We will be editing it and closed captioning, and that will be placed on our website as well as being sent to you. Our next webinar is in December, and that webinar is going to be on the Family to Family Toolkit, where we have a new product on our website to help parents and students make the decision about going to college. And so we'll be talking about that in December. And thank you everyone for staying to the very end.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for all that you do.
Nice meeting you all. Bye-bye.
Nice meeting
Thank you.
you
It was
all.
nice meeting
Bye.
you. Thank you.